Jai.
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good, I'm good. Nice to see you.
It's good to see you too. I started the recording, but we can edit all this stuff in the beginning. I just want to kind of get the greeting out of the way and all my little giggles from being on the being on the phone with you. Oh, you had the
I
baby.
did. She's actually nursing right now. Yeah, I did. I'm already past my 40 days.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was smooth and everything. You guys are healing well.
We're healing good, but she was my hardest.
Oh,
She was my hardest, yeah. But everything went well, everything was fine. But she came sunny side up, where her head is down and her face is out. Poor
uh-huh.
hurt like hell.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, it was,
Ooh.
but
What did they say is special about her because of that?
I don't know. I haven't found out yet. I'm still waiting for her name too. So
Okay.
maybe I'll find out later on
Yeah, that would be something I'd be interested in, like what
what that
is
means.
special. Yeah. What is
I'll
what
let
is
you
unique?
know. I'll let you know if I find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you, how's everything?
It's it's been a whirlwind since I've been back. Things are just kind of like transpiring at a really, really fast rate.
That's great.
And it's almost surreal.
Hmm. Yeah, the event here was really nice.
Ah, right. And
Yeah.
then I should probably do the introduction before we get to
Okay, yeah, I won't say anything else. I won't say anything else.
but all of that is, yeah, kind of like what we want to talk about and things like that. And it'll be natural between us. I may even be like this most of the interview just because it's family, you know.
Yeah, we know each other so well.
We're comfortable. Let me unlock the door because if I don't, Regimental, when he tries to get me, he'll bang on the door really loud, and I'd rather him just be able to walk in. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll do a quick introduction. It's like
Okay.
my standard podcast introduction,
Okay.
and then I will introduce you
Okay.
just briefly, and then allow you to introduce yourself and share what you'd like, and it's just going to be an easy flow.
Okay. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about Costa more than the Earth Center. Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Be
whatever.
about business and entrepreneurship, right? Or is that not the
Well, it's kind of, I really just wanted to highlight the vendors that came to each festive because it was a collaboration of them and I
Hmm.
together that made the energy so
Right.
well. And, my audience knows me, but they don't know you guys. And
Okay.
so I just wanted to introduce because, not everyone made it. And it was so interesting that one of the interviews that was set up was a vendor who signed up but didn't make it.
Mm.
And you could tell just the energy of, like, it wasn't meant for her for
Oh,
her to be, you know what I'm saying? Like it was okay for her not to vend.
yeah.
And that just kind of goes to everyone that was there was supposed to be there in
Mm.
their space and have something unique to offer. And, for me, I just wanted to broadcast that. And
Okay.
yeah, so if you want to talk about Encosta, so I mean, that's wonderful. Um, they had said the apprentice healing. And so I
Okay.
was kind of interested about,
Yeah.
sharing some of that, but whatever you want to share, it's totally fine.
Okay. So I'll do that. I'll talk about the Ifsa, you guys can't come in, okay? Go. Go. I'll talk about the both like the apprentice healing that takes place through Ancasta, but I'll also mention that I started through like the Earth Center or something. But I'll kind of talk more about my journey so it like so people can kind of
And I'm
understand.
totally okay with the Earth Center, by the way. People kind of do that. They kind of roll their eyes with me in the Earth Center, but I'm like, I'm good.
I figured I didn't think you had any bad blood with the Earth Center. Who
No,
thinks that?
not at all. Not at all. So, but sometimes I get that. Like I got invited to an interview, and I'm gonna do the intro in a second. I got invited to an interview, and they're just like, it's not Earth Center related. And I'm just like, even if it was, like, like I'm not there. I'm not in
Yeah,
that group.
yeah, I've always known that about you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I've always known that about you, that you're just kind of like you know, always kind of around and partnered and all that, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. Okay, let's
Ready?
see. Mhm.
Okay.
So, welcome everyone to another episode of the Divine Feminine Podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Priestess Hanera Abunu, and we are continuing on with the series that I'm calling the Divine Feminine Festive because it's kind of highlighting the festive. And what we're doing in this series is interviewing the vendors both in Houston and San Diego that contributed to the energy of the festive and made it so beautiful. It's really an honor to work with each and every one of them. And because the experiences went so well, I just had to bring each vendor to you and introduce them to you. And so in today's episode, it's actually a really good treat because we get to introduce Djedka with the Earth Center. And the Earth Center, if you guys have been following me and following the podcast, you guys know was my start and my beginning, was my very, very first initiation. You can call it my bridge to the motherland. And so to have them support me and be a part of my first festive is very, very touching and personal to me. I explained to you guys in a couple episodes back when we started this um, series the importance of having the blessing of your mother, right? And how the mothers are a very vital part of that portal to the divine and your spiritual portal. And so having my first initiated school, my foundation, support me and give me that connection and support was special to me for them to be at my first festive. So this episode is a little touching. I'm going to try to keep it together, you guys on here listening. And if you're watching, you hopefully won't see me shedding tears. I'm going to keep emotionally sound, but this is going to be a good one. So sit back, listen, relax, and let's get started. So, welcome. Um, I will say, introduce you as Djedka, but within the organization, you are a student who started before me, and so the proper greeting is Ujai Hatani, right? Which introduces you and gives you the respect as a student who has gone before me. So I will stay in the energy of that and respect that process we've both gone through and say, Ujai Hatani, how are you?
Ujai, it's so good to be here, Duao, or
Yeah.
Duao for having me and for
And for those of you who don't know, Duau is just saying thank you. Mhm.
so Duao for having me and allowing me to represent both the Earth Center and Ancasta, which is
Mhm.
of the same organization. And yeah, your festive was amazing. It was really nice. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so for people who maybe are new to the podcast or haven't gone back 3 years and listened to the first couple episodes, can you just let them know a little bit about the organization, what they offer, and who you are in that whole um, piece?
Sure. Okay, so with the organization, we'll start. There's two parts to it. There's the nonprofit, the Earth Center, and then there's Ancasta Natural Healing, and their sister organizations. But everything goes back to our spiritual master, which is Neb Naba Lamusa Morotunbe, who
Mhm.
was from the Dogon line. He was gracious enough to see that people over here really needed, like you said, a bridge, something to just get people started to go back to something, to connect to something authentic,
Yes.
uh, kind of decolonize your mind and go back to something that has been working for millennia. So Neb Naba Lamusa Moro Dinebe, sorry, um, he did was he got the blessing of his elders, his teachers, his temples, his family, and decided to come out here and start this organization called the Earth Center. And that's where you and I met because
Mhm, mhm.
we both decided that we needed something different, that everything that we had been learning here in the States just wasn't working for us. And so we decided to embark on this initiation. And so the Earth Center offers like an authentic initiation that's been a little bit kind of modified to fit here, to fit this like modern world, to help
Mm.
bridge people back to, like I said, something authentic, like an authentic initiation. So me, I've been in the initiation for about, oh, I always say 12 years, but I've probably said that for like 3 years now. So maybe it's like 50. So
We lose time. We lose track of time.
we do. And so anyway, I've been talking a lot, but that's what the organization is. It's like connecting people back to traditional um, spirituality and philosophy, and then also healing, which is what I was mentioning before on Casta. And I can talk a little bit more about that later. Um,
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And that was going so I did the initiation through the Earth Center and also returned home and did other initiations on the continent and kind of broke into my speciality, right? Um, and I can say for me, I am so grateful for the foundation that I was given. Um, and I can just say honestly, being raised in America, I don't know that I would, one, have been accepted,
for sure.
because of all my corruption and my thinking is upside down, and I don't know respect, I don't know humility, I don't know, shame and patience, and I don't know any, I feel entitled, all of the things that are labeled as American or Western ideals. I have them all, right?
I would,
And it's a journey to try to shed all of that. But had I not had the foundation, and like you said, the modified initiation, which is still very authentic and very spiritual, um, had I not had that, I would have not been prepared, equipped, or even say pre-qualified, to even move forward into the specialized journey um, that I'm in now in Budun. So that piece and that component is very crucial, and more of us are becoming aware and realizing, this society, it's just kind of not working. It's just, it's kind of backwards, and we see it in the news like all the time, right? I think the most recent article I read, and it just kind of made me chuckle, is we have this well, no, I won't go there. I'm not going to say that, but there's countless accounts in the news where you're just like, that's not right. I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't want that. Or I believed you and I went there, then just for you to change it or change the laws or change the rule book 6 months later and say we need to do something else. Um, so yeah, many of us are waking up and wanting something different, something rooted in traditions that's unchangeable. What is truth? You can't change truth. And so when you go out seeking truth, um, you'll find it. And so that's what I feel like I found with my first initiation with the Air Center. But tell us about Encosta, the healing, the healing aspect, the sister company.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it back to that. That aspect, the on Costa, I can't even say how important it is because out here, as you know, I know you know, like it's not just about what we're dealing with mentally and physically. It's like energetically, spiritually, everybody is just suffering. There's just so much happening to people on this side. And the Ancasta, what Ancasta is trying to do is just really help people to heal and use methods, like you said, that have been around for thousands of years that we know work, and provide people with those authentic methods of healing out here in the West. But at the same time, we're kind of having like a revolution on the
Mhm.
other side. And about our healing center that, I don't know if you've seen it lately, but it's like really changing. It's so amazing. So what we've been doing is kind of gathering like a collective of
Mhm.
healers and priests that are very, they have their specialty, like you said, like in either, maybe they're good at dealing with the heart issues, or maybe they're good at spiritual ceremonies, or whatever their specialty is. We're kind of creating this collective where these healers can gather and work together, but especially to help preserve their knowledge, their sacred ancient knowledge that we know is really being like people are trying to steal or
Mhm.
destroy all the time. So our mission is to both help people here, take that, what we make here, bring it back and help those healers and those traditions like really stand strong in, with all the attacks going on against traditional knowledge. So
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to.
That's important. That's important. So, and I didn't know that. I have to make it to Togo. I tell you, every time I reach out, um, there's something going on and I'm not able to make it. And the timing, when you guys are there, I'm here, or when I have free time in my schedule to go, then it's like, we're just starting to travel or something like that. So even now I'm like, you know, when should I come to the East Coast,
Yeah.
to meet up with certain healers and high level people in the organization just to connect and pay my homage and respect. So it's all about divine timing, but I am going to get there for sure. Especially now that you're telling me all the new things that are happening, I have to get there and pay respect.
Yeah, it's really looking so different from when you went. We have all these new huts built, and there's like so many kids that are being helped, like in terms of like helping them both with education, but traditional knowledge as well, helping them to, learn from their elders and keep the traditions going. And it's really nice to see. You
So is it, and I'm trying to paint a picture for myself, and this is Head Eye Shot, right? That we're talking about in Togo. That's the name of the compound there. Okay. So is it an apprentice program for the children to study with the elders and keep the traditional knowledge? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, good question. It is, but it's also open now to those of us who have been through the, MTOM or Earth Center initiations. We're
Mhm.
now able to go there and learn and apprentice under the priests as well, and doing a lot of like learning those things so that those traditions and that knowledge doesn't disappear, you know. And it's also really nice to see like when we come back and seeing, wow, these people from all over the world really value what we have here. So it really like gives people and the young children who are so easily influenced, it gives them a lot of pride in what they're doing, you know. And
Mm.
so they really want to take, you'll see the little kids run up and bring their drums and sit next to the elders and like try to learn the secrets of like the drum and just, you know, just around learning, apprenticing. It's really a beautiful thing.
No, that's wonderful. And so, okay, so now that leads me into talking about something I really haven't shared much about in most recent episodes, maybe a couple episodes back at this point, but I am putting together a study abroad program myself. And the correlation, I mean, this is divine. This is just kind of divine when you see that you're like in the flow and in the will of what some connecting to something that is higher than you. And so the Sankofa Study Abroad program is a program where African American children from here in the States study in Merita or Africa, and they're fully submerged in the culture and learning indigenous languages, learning other languages, colonial languages like French. And then that, so they're getting their, say, Western education, right? Their science, math, all of those things. But then on the weekends, they're going into the spiritual convents and they are learning there also. And so they're learning African art, culture, music, textiles. That's one branch of the spiritual side. They're also learning the botany, healing, plant medicine. That's another branch. And then the third branch is learning our African history and knowledge through Fa and, you know, the beginnings of reading. And so that is revolutionary, right? In that we're trying to preserve the knowledge as best we can. And we're starting with the children, right? Whether the children are from the States or the children are there, it needs to be done. And what you said is key. And it brought me back to when we were recording. We recorded like for a whole week in Benin. And one of the places we went to record, to put a video together for the Sankofa program was a Regimental school. And we were talking to the teacher, and at the end of it, she thanked me. And here's what she said. She said, you know, I thank you for putting together this program because we need you as much as you need us, because you are teaching us to hold value in what we don't see value in anymore. Right? She said, we live 1 kilometer, you know, real close, 1 mile from the convents, you know, from the traditional leaders. We we don't visit our temples, we don't visit our land anymore. We don't take care of our shrines. But when you come from the West and you come from the States and you have so much interest and so much passion about it, and we look at you as progressive and this is the way that you're going, it makes us have a sense of pride. It makes us realize that we do have the answers and the key, and we need to not let it die, and we need to preserve it. And that was just really enlightening for me to hear it from her perspective. And so for you to say that also, you know, because I know how it is, you know, those kids, they want to see, and talking about the children who are in Africa, right? They look at us as progressive, and they want to be like us. And what type of phone do you have? Let me see your gadgets. They put away their traditional clothes, and they want to put on the denim and the t-shirts and all of those things. But when they see, you know, no, we want to learn from you, teach us that drum. How do you play the drum? How do you do this? Then um, it gives them a sense of pride. And so that's very, very encouraging. I have to make it out to Togo soon.
Yes. And it's like you say, they're so into what we're bringing, and then we're the ones going over there like, no, you teach me what you know. Like, I really want to learn this. And I think a really important piece, I don't know, I just think in my mind is that we've been through this lifestyle in the West for how many generations? I don't know.
Right.
And so we know what this path leads to.
Yeah. Yeah.
We, when you start this path of modern life, it's like, lights and glitz and glamour, and you're like, oh, this looks like a fun path. And then when you get 4 or 5 generations in, like,
Mhm.
oh, I went the wrong way.
Right. We went too far, right? We went way too far. We missed our turn. We had to go back.
Everybody turn around. So we have the opportunity to like say to people like, look, this is what is the outcome of this path. Like this is what you can expect. And as you see, like, I'm not going to mention everything, like you said, of what's going on in the news, but it's not good. It's
Not at all. Not at all. And, we just, those of us, and I'm meeting more and more people of like minds that are just wanting to connect, wanting to reach out to something and be connected to something greater than themselves, because they know that this is not it. And it's more than just religion. It's more than the education system. It's more than the political system. It's more than the modern medical system. It's more than all of those things. There's something deep rooted in all of us that's starting to activate and just say, nature,
right.
natural. We have to get there. It's happening. So I'm so grateful for organizations like Encosta, organizations like the Earth Center, and others that are out there reprogramming, training, and correcting the damage that's been done. It's really hard. This work is really hard, but we have to do it. It's our call, and I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm happy.
It's really exciting times, right?
Yeah, it is. Okay, so tell us a little bit about you. You've been with the organization, we'll say 15 plus years at this point. What are some of the benefits as an apprentice healer that you found? What made you go into that arena? And give us a little bit of background, like bring it home for us, for you.
Okay. So for me, I decided, well, I didn't realize that I wanted to be a healer initially, because I think healer and I think stomach issues, like heart palpitations, and that doesn't naturally like, spark interest in me. Um,
Mhm.
but as I started learning and working with my teachers and going to Medita, I was just out there at the healing center and getting my own, work done. I realized that I'm more like interested in healing people, like mind and spirit. Like that's kind of what calls to me. And so I'm, you know, really interested in making sure that that knowledge is kept, and I can maybe learn some of it so that I can help my descendants, the children that are coming after me, to not have to deal with a lot of the issues that I went through as a child. So on my social media, I talk a lot about how in this world, I would be labeled as neurodivergent. I don't know if you've heard the term,
No,
but
what is that? I have no idea.
okay, so neurodivergent is just like an umbrella term to mean people that have abnormal brains. So anybody that has ADHD, autism, like all those differences, I
Okay.
have like I wouldn't be classified a normal person here because because ever since I was a child, I was a little different, and I'm sure you can say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of a difference, right?
Hmm.
And so I realized that whatever that is that makes me different, I really would have benefited from healing, like spiritual healing, going back to the traditions, like everything from ceremonies to spiritual baths to readings. Like I really needed that as a child. And I really suffered a lot through it as a child. And so my goal is to make sure that one, my children don't go through the same thing. And two, that I can help other people, other women, especially that
Hmm.
are kind of going through the same thing where they just feel like, you know, they just don't fit in, or there's just something, that's not right, that need like just some spiritual healing or spiritual understanding of who they are and what their spirit is saying that they need. That's how I got into this path, is I just feel very passionate about helping people that have suffered or are suffering the same way that I used to suffer, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. I mean, as people on this journey, we heal ourselves so that we can heal others, right? It's what worked for us, and makes us so passionate that we can, um, take that and heal to others. And what you touched on is very, very applicable in today's sense, because you see that labeling a lot, when it comes to autism, when it comes to ADHD and some of these other labels that this society wants to give people, when they don't understand their spiritual personalities and how to help them with the medicine that they have, right? And so you're right. So many of us could benefit, and our lives would have been slightly different, right? Had we been exposed to the knowledge sooner. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was really interesting one time, Haneda, because when I went to Merita, we have the ancestral calls, right?
yeah.
So when we're there and the ancestors speak to you, they were telling me like, they kind of listed, this is wrong with you, like you experienced this as a child and this and this and this. Like they made a list of things that I went through as a child.
Hmm.
This is just my theory, okay? This is just what I've been observing, is like all of those things that they listed are the same things that here in the West would classify you as a person that's, neurodivergent or whatever.
Hmm.
So, a lot of these people just really are supposed to be, one, are on a spiritual path. Like we're supposed to be, walking a spiritual path, or we need spiritual healing. And so it's just so interesting how the same issues can be looked at two very, very different ways.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And for those of you watching or listening, and just to break down what an ancestral call is, or in this regard, the way it's being used, it's when there is a priest, and that priest uses himself. He's trained and initiated, and most times, especially in West Africa, where Hassan Djedka is referencing, they learn this very young, initiate very young. And so they're trained all the way up into adulthood. And so this adult priest uses themselves, or is used as a vessel for whether it's an ancestor or a deity, to come through, speak, and give messages. And so It's a level of spirit possession that we just don't have access to here on the West. And so you can't really imagine it from anything you've seen on TV. However, when you're in those sacred ceremonies and the knowledge and information is coming through, it is so piercing and so exact to where you cannot deny the process that is going on is way above and beyond anything that could be fabricated, made up, or anything like that. And you can sense, I mean, even speaking about it right now, the hairs on my arms are going up because you can sense the energy, and there's a presence there, a heavy presence that is beyond anything that you or your sister or brother next to you is bringing to the room, right? So when she says ancestral call, this is a sacred um, calling of energy to come down and give messages, healing modalities, and prescriptions, of how to move, whether that's in an individual person, whether that's time and space, how to handle a situation. There's just knowledge and wisdom given during that time. So I just kind of wanted to educate you guys a little bit, because you guys may not know. Me and Hatani can go through and have a conversation all day. So I'm just trying to catch you guys up so you guys stay abreast
All right.
what we're talking about.
Yeah, so thank you for summing that up so nice. And just to kind of reiterate what I was saying, why I became a healer, or why I'm a not healer but apprentice healer, and why I'm learning this stuff is because I don't want people to suffer the same things that I've suffered, you know. I want to take what I've learned on my journey and help people, you know, help. I'm trying to help myself, really, to be honest. I'm selfish. I want to help myself. I want to, you know, heal myself fully, and then I want to use that and help other people.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it's that honest drive and hunger to heal yourself that will cause you to research. It'll cause you to refine yourself. It'll cause you to have new levels of discipline. It'll change and elevate you. And so there's absolutely, in that regard, no wrong with me, nothing wrong, in my opinion, right? My humble small opinion of being selfish when it comes to on the path of healing.
Can you imagine if we had all this, Haniera, when we were kids?
Man, man, do you know I would be so like further, I believe, you
Oh,
know?
yeah, for sure. We would be. We would be. We had to undo all kinds of stuff and then start.
Right. If I could have understood at a very young age that there was nothing wrong with me in my mind having a feminine and a masculine side, and understanding what that feminine and masculine side meant, it would have saved me a lot of trouble, now, I understand and I know those things, but back then I didn't understand, why did I have attractions to girls? Where did that come from? Why is that? All I was told was that it wasn't I was sick and something was wrong with me. And, that sent me to be shunned in society and do all of these things that I would never do now. Now that I know myself, now that I know my call, now that I know what deities mount me and what that comes with, I understand, the masculine side of me and why it's there and what principles it holds true and what I'm supposed to do, like who I am. And it's that true knowledge of self. It's taking it to like the deepest level, right? Possible. And I look at my children, I have 5 kids, and they all in some way is a version of me. And so truly, like you said, it's like you heal yourself so that you can heal the bloodline behind you, so you can heal the children and the legacy to come. So it's like now that there's certain things on my journey that I now understand fully about myself, I can impart that to my daughter. I can impart that to my son, and they're younger than me, of course, and them getting this say healing medicine early helps them go through their 20s, right? Which is a very challenging time. Helps them go through their teens, their adolescence, when they're trying to figure themselves out, at a very, it just helps them, right? And I wish I would have had that knowledge, right? And then not to mention, right, all the extra perks that we get, with being connected to temples, right? So we get our divinations every year, right? We get those divinations and we see how the year is going to be. It's a spiritual checkup, right? They tell us in the West we need to go to the doctor every year and get a checkup, but they never talk about the spiritual side. Well, let's get a spiritual checkup. And so every year when you're connected to a temple, you get a spiritual checkup. And then it's like if something isn't right, instead of writing a prescription, we get the spiritual work done. And so not only for myself, but for my children, we do this same thing. And so that correction happens real time. It never gets out of hand. And it's just a certain sense of guidance, and protection through life that, yes, I wish my parents knew to do for me earlier. And I want to live long enough to see my kids' true appreciation for what I'm doing for them now when they become grown and really understand, what they're facing in this world, because it's a true protection. Yeah, so it's great. The thing I've been telling people here recently is you have to get connected to a temple.
Really do, yeah. And through through learning and apprenticing, now I have a newfound appreciation for, because like I said, what really pulls me is the energetic and brain and mind and all that. But now I have a new appreciation for the rest of the body because I understand that it's all connected.
It's all connected.
And at first I was like, that doesn't really interest me, but it's like you can't take it apart. And so we can
Right.
even do that to our children, like I'm learning so much about how to just heal them so that they don't experience a lot of the issues when you get older that our families have dealt with for generations and generations, like the diabetes and vodka and the heart issues and all that. So it's all connected. Like that is a part of temple living,
Yeah.
healing the body, healing the mind, healing the spirit. It's all connected together. And so even though it wasn't like my first interest, I'm like, now I understand how important that aspect is too, taking care
Yeah.
of all of you, healing all of you.
And being a mother, it gives us a special, interest and focus and desire and drive, right? Because we have something other than ourselves to grow. We're responsible for our creations, right? For the ancestors that we brought. And so it's definitely, not a challenge in a good way, because you want to learn in order to heal, to correct, so that you can, create or have your creation be better than you, the next generation, you
Right.
know. Yeah, no, that's great. This has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. And we haven't even got to the festive, right? So really quick, with just the little bit of time we have left, if you want to share anything for the listeners and for the viewers, about the Houston Festive, your experience, what you experienced at the table, because you guys had a booth there. I was working most of the day, so I didn't even get to see and experience what everyone else got to experience. But every time I ask this question, I'm listening secretly myself, just to see how everyone's experience was. So share with us, how the Houston Festive was for you.
Yeah, it was really very nice. I have to say it was very nice. It was, you know, not too big, which was good, But what I noticed, I mean, it was a good size, what I mean, but what I noticed was that the people that were drawn to it had like it was like a lightness to it. You know, there was a lot of women, but there was a lot of lightness. There wasn't that, you know, some places, some things you go to have a heaviness and a lot of like darkness. And then it wasn't like that. It felt very joyful. It felt very feminine. It felt very kind of, yeah, it was very nice. It was like a nice vibe there, you know. And then we felt very welcomed because we had a big booth, you know, so we had a lot of people stop by and ask us questions. We had people sign up to our contact list and ask us about our products, about our healing products, about our herbs that we brought. And we had a really, really good, you know, really good feedback from the people there. So I really enjoyed myself.
And at that point, the little ancestor you're holding now, she wasn't even here yet. So how was it for you being so ready to give birth? Were you comfortable? Were you worried? You know, energetically, when we're ready to deliver, we're very cautious about where we go and the energy that we're around because we're so fragile at that time, about to you know, birth our baby. And so how was that? What made you comfortable, and how was it? Well, let me not say you were comfortable, but how was it for you there?
I would say I felt comfortable, if that's the word we're going to use, as long as I didn't go towards where you were doing your work.
Okay.
People have
Okay.
baths ever, so that's a lot. That's a lot that you were
Yeah.
together. As long as I stayed in our little booth, I was good.
Mm.
Good.
Yes. And you know, being in Benin for 2 years, apprenticing and going to the temple 2, 3 times a week, to learn and train. I've done a lot of spiritual baths, right? Um, but in one setting, that was a lot. You know, we, that was a lot for just one person. But I can tell you, in in the midst of it, I just kept going. And it wasn't until later, um, after the event, that I was like, wow, you did all of those baths by yourself. You didn't have a team. You didn't have, you know, it's not like in the temple where there's, you know, other temple sisters and other priests around you to help assist. And you guys have like a line, you know, it was, so it didn't dawn on me till later. And then when we looked at some of the numbers, and I'm like, we did that many baths. There were that many people there. Um, it was just in the moment, I just kept seeing, um, they need help. They want help. You know, we have to help the people. And so I'm just doing my, you know, just doing my little part. And I asked, you know, these specific questions of you because I know you guys do a lot of festivals. You guys do festivals and markets and different outreaches that way. And so how was the festive compared to some of the other um, events you've done?
Um, well, to go back on what I was saying about the lightness, I think a lot of the people that attended were more focused on like coming to get solutions
Mhm.
versus like wanting to just talk about all the horrible things that we've gone through, you know. And so it was very solution focused, which was really nice. And I mean, I think people are starting to understand that the solution is really just going back down the path, like we were talking about, going back to something that worked. And so it was nice to see all these young women coming to learn, and they were so open to listen about tradition, about indigenous wisdom. And so that was really nice. I didn't hear a lot of conversation about like the negative that we've gone through and that's been going on, you know, around the world right now. It was just very focused on solution and healing and, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I definitely do. I just like to hear it expressed so that people can have more of a clearer picture of what type of renaissance is really happening in these spiritual streets, you know? Well, this has been a great episode. I thank you for your time. I hope to, I don't know if I'll get to see you this summer. I hope so. If everything aligns, it's all about alignment. But if not, I know I'll get to hug you real soon. At some point, I'll have to have Resumenthu call or maybe do a video call because your kids and him, they're like this, and he's in the country, and
Yeah.
and so I'll have to, if maybe I will go and get him after this, and we can call on the phone because he's here, and they're going to start traveling soon too. That's the thing. When you're in the country, you just travel. You see everyone domestically. It doesn't matter if they're on the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest. It's like you just get it all done in the few weeks or few months that you're here. And so they're going to start traveling pretty soon too. So while he's with me, they have to connect.
Right.
Um, with you. So that'll be good. Maybe I'll do that if you have time. Maybe I'll call you on video after this. Um, I think that was, let me see all my questions. I think that was all that I had. Did you have any last words, or did you want to give the contact information of how to stay connected with the organization, with the Houston chapter? Any information you want to give?
Yeah, so if anybody's interested in connecting with us, you can go to our website. So for Ancasta, it is anhlife.org.
Mhm.
You can contact us there. We actually have a location here in Houston. So if you're in Houston, you want to come by and see our herbs, and see like where we have all of our products, and see if we have healers available to do consultations or anything like that. You can call us or text, or go on the website. And our phone number, sorry, I'm going to read it off. It's 737-201-1213. And I probably will answer if you call. So
Yay. I
you
can
call.
know your voice.
Yeah. And I'm here to answer any questions if you need any help with healing, whether it be spiritual, physical, mental, any kind of healing.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. And I have to point this out because this is the second podcast in this series that I've done, and it's been with a mother, and she's nursing. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have to be mothers at all times, and nursing our children is something natural. It's something we need to do more of. We need to have more babies, one. And then after we have more babies, we need to give them natural mama milk and not, some powder or some other form from some other plant or animal. We need to give them what is been designed from our bodies to give to the children. So hats off to you. I'm sending you energy, positivity, and light. Can't we wait to meet the new ancestor and learn her name, her can you tell them just a little bit? I know we're about to hang up, but can you tell the listeners a little bit about um, the spiritual name and what that is, the healing baths that we do indigenously, and why that is so important, or why you do it with your children. Yeah, could you touch just a little bit about that for the mothers out there that are listening?
Of course. So we have these ceremonies, or like, I don't know what you would call it, but this something that you go through when you're born. The minute you're born, you can start doing a reading, an earth energy reading, to figure out who this spirit is that came back. Who is this ancestor that is coming back, and what is their destiny? So it's kind of like You know how they always say, oh, as a parent, you wish you had like an instruction manual. It's like an instruction manual for your kid.
Really, it is.
So what happens is the priest will check the energies of the child and will determine a lot of different things, including like what they came back to accomplish, taboos, what things they should avoid, what things they should, are good for them. And so I've noticed with all of my kids, they're like right on the money, every single one. Like
Mhm.
what they tell me to expect 2 years later, oh, there it is. You can see it. It's so clear. So it's really nice to know because you can guide them based on this, like, instruction manual. You can guide them. You already know what their challenges are going to be. You already know what they're going to be good at. So you can start really early to help them go in the right direction. And so these names, it'll be like a name, for example, I'll use Ibsa. So, or let me use mine. So Djedka, I received my name as an adult because I went through the initiation with the Earth Center, and I received my name. So my name is Jed, which is like spirit, stability and strength, and then Ka is like spirit. So it's supposed to mean the spirit of strength and stability. It doesn't mean I'm necessarily that already, but it's constantly reminding me of what I'm supposed to be focused on throughout my life. And every time somebody calls me that, even in like energetic way or like subconsciously, it's reminding me like what I'm here to do. So ever since these kids get their name, they're going to be hearing that name and reinforcing like what they came to do. So it makes it a lot easier for them to accomplish what they came to accomplish.
Definitely, definitely. And I have to tell you, so with the Kati, right? He's 13, about to be 14 this summer. And so any parents out there of early teenagers, you kind of know where I am in experiencing the parenting privileges. I won't call them challenges, but the parenting privileges right now. And his name, right? He was given his name, and his name is Akati, and that means one with a just heart that makes good determinations. And so, just like Hatsuni Jeka was saying, it's like it doesn't necessarily mean that you immediately fit that name, but it's something to grow to. And so, as challenges in life present themselves to my dear son, I just remind him, son, you remember you have a just heart and you're going to make good determinations. And he's just like, Ma, I was like, how did you handle that situation according to your name? And we just kind of, as a parent, it gives me a guide to go back to something that's truth, right? Because sometimes, kids, especially teenagers, they like to think that you're against them, or, you just, mom doesn't understand. And it's like, no, none of those things. I'm just trying to guide you. And so to have that piece of truth that's undeniable and has been a part of his life since infancy, it's good to have. And yeah, it's uh, a guiding instructional manual for me as well. I suggest it for every single mother out there that is pregnant, or looking to be pregnant, or has small children under the age of 7, 6, I believe. Um, we can get that information for you. So even if you have a small child, it's still not too late. And you can contact me. You can contact the Earth Center. We're all indigenous priests who have connections to read the Earth's energy and can get that information for you. The thing is, and I'll go back to my earlier statement, is you got to get connected to a temple.
Yes, I mean, it's so true.
You got to get connected to a temple. But yeah, so thank you for that, for that wisdom and that advice for the mothers out there, because it's hard out here, for them, and you don't know what to do. But we do what our ancestors did. And there's those of us who are on that path and will share the way. So thank you for sharing the way with us today,
Hi.
and letting everyone know about the organization, how to find you. Um, yeah, I think that's all I had. Did you have anything else you wanted to share?
Yeah, just to say that we're going to be doing also here at the temple at the Earth Center, we're going to be doing book readings
Okay.
like for the rest of the summer. So if anybody wants to come join us, you can, you can go on the earthcenter.org, or, if you want to just stop by our, you can find the phone number there. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but we're in Third Ward. So you can come by and visit us. Everything is on the website, all of our information, and I'll be here.
Good, good. And Third Ward is the cultural hub in Houston. And so they're right in the heart of Third Ward, not far from the pop-up place, which is where we had the event there. So ladies, family, gents, if you're listening and you went to the festive in Houston, it's literally right around the corner. Matter of fact, if you put it in Google Earth Center, it'll come up and show you where it is and the GPS. I will, when I post this online, the audio and the video, I will put all of the details for the location in Houston, and also the website information for both organizations for people to reach out to. So I will do that as well. It's been a pleasure. I'm so happy that we were able to connect. And I will bid everyone farewell. Until next time, everyone.
Okay. Hello.
Haru.